Well, I don't know about you lot, but when I was a kid, I used to love building dens. And here in Liverpool, right on your doorstep at Edge Hill, they have found what could be the biggest underground den in the world. Now, I hope you aren't afraid of the dark, because I want you to come with me. Now, I'm really excited about this. I've come down here into the tunnels to find out all about the man who built them. He's known as the Mole of Edge Hill, and Frank here knows a lot about this man.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, Frank. Could you tell us a little bit more about this man who built all these fantastic tunnels and underground caverns that we've got here?
Yeah. Well, we don't know an awful lot about him, except we know he was born in Warrington and came to Liverpool around about 1800 and went to work for a big firm of tobacco merchants in the city. And he sort of grew up in the business and had the good fortune to marry the boss's daughter.
That's lucky.
And eventually inherited the business and amassed a considerable fortune in the city. And when it came to his retirement, he built a house just round the corner from here in Mason Street, and that was the start of a wonderful series of excavations that he did for no apparent reason that we know of, although there are lots of theories about why he might have done it.
He sounds like a very eccentric old man.
Very much so, yes. He got, some people call him the Mad Mole of Edge Hill, which we don't like, because we quite like him and don't think he was mad at all.
No, he seems very generous, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So instead of giving money out to charity, he would rather give people the jobs and let them work for their money.
Yes.
And that ended up in being this amazing sort of maze of tunnels and things underneath Liverpool, and not many people know about them, do
No,
they?
we're doing our best to make sure a lot of people know about them, but it's a long job to do that.
Well, I find it very exciting, and I think it's about time we had a little bit more look around.
Right.
Right, now the first person I'm going to talk to about these tunnels is Steve. Now we're right at the bottom of the first set of steps. Steve, can you tell us a little bit about how you found this place? Because it must be like the tip of an iceberg. How did you even know how to get in?
We actually searched around the top for quite a few days, in fact weeks, and just trying to pinpoint the actual entrance into the labyrinth. This is only part of a small part of the labyrinth. The other sites, the other entrances, but we haven't got them to join up yet.
Well, I want to get off the top of this iceberg now and have a look a bit further into the system. Let's have a look.
Yes,
down here.
come down. In this room, Stephanie, we can actually show you what some of the bottles were found, some of all the amount of rubbish that's been in the area and what we've had to clear out. And what we've been finding is a mostly assortment of about 1900 bottles from about 1880 up to about 1910.
Wow, very, very old stuff we've got here. So give us an example of what have you found?
Well, as I say, the Victorian era with bottles, it's a fascinating era because there's that many paintings coming out on the ollie bottle, on ollie bottles, the ones with the ollies in.
Ah, now these are interesting. Can you explain what these bottles do?
This is an ollie bottle. There's an ollie inside it, and when it was filled up with lemonade, it was put on a machine and it was filled up from the bottom, and when the lemonade come into the top, the ollie would drop to the bottom onto a seal with the gas pressure in it, it'd be taken off the machine, and it was ready to delivery to whatever shop it was going to. Most of the bottles we have got are all broken because they've already been broken by the children to take the ollie out to play marbles.
It's like the free toys they get with things these days, isn't it?
Yes, but it doesn't do very well for us because we want them intact as much as possible.
Absolutely. And you've got the ink pot. Is this an ink pot?
That's an inkwell.
An inkwell.
Inkwell.
Perfect working order there.
There's different types.
Wow,
all different types. There's actually pourers as well, with the actual pourer on.
Would that have the ink in it?
That would the ink in, and you could actually pour it into the smaller bottles or into the school desk. In the desks. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah. It is very exciting.
Let's move on.
This section here, we've actually got machinery which has actually had chains on. And it was to lift some equipment down here at one time. We don't know where it's actually off, but I'm trying to look to find out where it's from.
And where are we now?
In this section is what we call the barrel drop or lift section. Apparently there's a lift we're down on the second floor now, so the 2 floors above us, that's where they actually dropped the barrels and any other equipment that they were storing down here. We think they actually, there's meat hooks on here, so we actually think they actually brought meat and stored meat down here.
It's nice and cool, isn't it?
It's very cool, it's a constant temperature, and that's the good thing about it.
Wow, I just can't believe how big this place actually is. Well, I'm going to leave you and get on with your work now, Steve. Thank you very much for the talk.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Pleasure, and I'll see you later on.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go and find someone else now who's going to take me down into the lower reaches of the labyrinth, as they call it. Follow me round here. Now, if we come down here, Les, are you there? Hi. Hi.
Nice.
Right,
Hi.
you're going to take me down here now, aren't you, and show me what's
I'd like
underneath?
to show you through the lower reaches.
Come on then.
Have a look. One nice one.
More caverns.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell
This
me,
is, yeah.
where are we?
We're in what we call now the lower reaches.
The lower
This is the furthest we can get at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's just getting a bit confusing for me now, because everywhere you go, there's a tunnel or a big room, or, you know, and they've all got these beautiful, you know, ceilings and things. Can you explain to me the way that these are sort of laid out?
If you took the whole of the area that we're under now as a cube, a huge cube, within the cube, if you, let's say we had playing cards going up, you know, kids playing cards.
When you stack them up like this and then you lay
put
them
a floor
on the top.
another stack, another piers, another floor. This is exactly what we're
What
looking
it's
at down here, yeah.
So what do you think these rooms were used for then?
Well, they weren't used for anything in particular. The Williamson built them to give work to the local people of the area. Also, the soldiers returning from the Napoleonic Wars, as you've heard before.
They've managed to build the most impressive structures, haven't they? Just as we're walking through here, can you just tell us a little bit about the brickwork? Because it's phenomenal, isn't it, really?
Well, it's absolutely brilliant. It really took our breath when we first found this down here.
I bet it did.
It really did.
And these aren't like the bricks you get today, because, I mean, in those days, the bricks had to be made and
They
they were all
weren't
different sizes, weren't they?
That's right.
Yeah, like these days, they're always very square, because, of course, they can make them with machines, but these, you know, it is wonderful down
They
here.
are, and they're being held together by each other, actually. They're pushing against each other, so the forces are pushing into the middle and are pushing down, but they can't fall this way because the next brick stops it, and the next brick stops, so it's pushing to the side. And that's why they've been like this, what, for something like 150, 160 years.
And we've got another ceiling arch all the way back over
that
here.
travels right through, yeah.
This is special, isn't it?
To us, this is the most intriguing part of the lower reaches, actually.
When all this rubble here is removed from under our feet, we could be looking at a vault here as big and as tall as something like the Anglican Cathedral, couldn't we?
Easily. We calculated when we did put the probes down, that we are on at least 12 metres of ash.
Wow. So this is when all this is cleared, it's going to be like a castle underground.
Or a dungeon.
Or a dungeon.
No,
that's more likely to be a dungeon with it being underground. We'll never know until all this is moved.
It could be like it was in a dungeon down here, where it is, where it looks.
Let's go and have a little look at them.
Fine.
Thank you very, very much, guys, for that, and I hope that you'll invite me back when you've excavated a little bit more. I know you've got a long way to go, because it's really, really hard to actually understand how big that the whole area of these tunnels cover, but it certainly is the biggest den that I have ever seen. See you next week. Bye-bye.